Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out new Tales from the Borderlands. Now, I'm so curious to know what public reception of new Tales from the Borderlands is. Now, many of you likely already know, but if not, I will give you this little tidbit of information, is that Tales from the Borderlands was made by the studio Telltale Games. Telltale Games is also the original people that made what is called A Wolf Among Us, as well as probably their largest magnum opus of releases, which is the Walking Dead series, the Telltale Walking Dead series. But Telltale Games as a studio doesn't really exist anymore. Technically they do, but realistically they don't. They got gobbled up, I believe. My details might be slightly off, and I apologize for that. They got gobbled up by Gearbox Games, which Gearbox are the publishers of Borderlands. So it's not too surprised that the latest release that would be from Telltale is going to be new Tales from the Borderlands, especially because Tales from the Borderlands was very, very well received. And the devs that made up the original Telltale studio, they have unfortunately kind of flown off into the wind. They have went on to make other projects. I do believe that they're working on the new Star Wars game now, which a lot of people are very excited about because it's supposed to be the next genuine Telltale release, because it is a lot, the studio that's working on it is going to be made up of, or is it Star Trek? Star Wars or Star Trek? I don't remember. One of those two. Space opera thing. Anyway, so the reception of new Tales from the Borderlands is going to be very interesting, not just in terms of it as a product being announced, but also in terms of how it's received after it's released. But can't really talk about post-release because it's not out yet. It does release on October 21st, but we can see at least what they are trying to pitch to us at this point in time. So this is new Tales from the Borderland. It was actually announced very, very recently. This official announcement trailer is from August of 2022, and we are moving to September and then October for just a little bit of information. There is an 18-minute long gameplay reveal for this. We will not be watching that because that's just super long. We might take a peek at it or let it play in the background while we talk about some other things after we've checked out these trailers. So let's go. That's the end.
Most stories in the Borderlands start bloody. They end bloody too. Sometimes all it takes to change the galaxy is a trio of losers trying to get through a bad day.
We are in the middle of a TDR invasion.
Leave immediately! This area is now under TDR jurisdiction!
They think there was a vault key being kept on the station.
If we can find whatever's in that vault before TDR does, we can change our lives.
We're bad at this, really bad. TDR has many guns, talking guns, guns with legs.
I'm gonna blast you so freaking bad! Yeah! Shut up, Richard!
I always wanted to change the universe for the better, and now we actually can!
But more importantly, we'll be drowning in ash!
Why are you people like this?
If you happen to see any corpses along the way, don't worry about them. They're just, yeah, don't worry about them.
Okay. Want to play the wheelchair bound now? I know it's a Tales game, though. Yeah, it's meant to be a Tales game, so it's going to be kind of a choose-your-own-adventure. Yeah, choose-your-own-adventure choices matter. You won't really be running around the environments much. It's going to be more along the lines of a dynamic narrative game in terms of what just Western visual novels have become. To answer your other question, though, so the developer officially is listed as Gearbox Software, Eve. While we do know that they have absorbed like Telltale, so there might be some people that worked on Tales from the Borderlands that are involved with this project. The official developer is Gearbox Software. Okay, so that was the announcement trailer. This is the official character trailer.
So you're still running your parents' Frogurt store. That is adorable.
As soon as the insurance money comes in, this place will look good as new. Susan Coldwell. She wrecked my shop. Oh, that corporate butt sniffer and I have a polyamorous date with my punching fist.
Getting on Forge's super successful Dirty 30 is a lifelong dream. It's irrefutable.
Forges instead of Forbes. Super successful Dirty 30. Okay.
Proof to the rest of the world that Octavia Wallace Starr exists. That I'm a somebody.
You, however, are not on this list. You're anonymous, unrecognized, a nobody.
We use innovation and technology to help people and protect life, not casually destroy it as a matter of course.
You're a revolutionary, boss.
We are on the cusp of a world with less bloodshed.
We could
Change the world for the better.
get rich and famous.
Kick Susan Coldwell's ass.
Let's take the fight to them.
Just tell me who to shoot and where to shoot them.
Are you flirting with me?
You are dead.
Their name was Staple Face. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this gameplay video in the background while we talk a little bit more about this. I'll turn it down a little bit so it's maybe not too overwhelming, though. Looks like they got some sections that are of particular note. So this is new Tales from the Borderlands, and like we've kind of already talked about, this is going to be a narrative-led, choose-your-own-adventure game. I will say that, like, the idea of Telltale games being these more along the lines of, like, a Western visual novel aren't inherently appealing to me, mostly because they always feel... I'm trying to find the right word. Like, I always feel like they're lacking something in terms of charm compared to other visual novels. It's like they're trying to take themselves too seriously, and I say that having watched these trailers now and watched them being almost on the other side of that coin of where it's not taking itself seriously enough. And there's a form of humor that exists within especially the Borderlands franchise that is very, very delicate. Like, some people will try and compare Borderlands to, like, the Marvel brand of comedy, and I really don't feel like they are, because Borderlands has so many moments that are really, really good, and then so many moments that are really, really bad, whereas a lot of Marvel cinema moments are just, like, permanently mid, right? Like, and it's like, if you enjoyed the brand of humor from Marvel, which, like, most of the time I normally do, it's still not exactly like the pinnacle or the bottom of the bucket in any direction. It's definitely a very handcrafted formula. And with Borderlands, it feels like they just like are just swinging really hard, and sometimes they really get the ball, just like really connect with it, and it gets soared off and you get a home run. It's like a really good moment, but either in terms of just like a narrative or a funny moment or something like that. And then sometimes they whiff horribly. My problem with Telltale games is the problem that they are never handheld usually. I mean, you got the Steam Deck now. So, and watching these trailers, I feel like at least with this game specifically, a lot of the time it is going to be very, very heavily a miss, right? Is that it with there was a couple of moments in there that kind of made me smile, but a lot of moments in there that I'm like, it's probably just gonna be like back grippingly cringy, and in a way that just makes you uncomfortable. I disagree. Love and Thunder was quite the bottom of the barrel, but at least the CG wasn't as bad as a certain show. I enjoyed Love and Thunder. It did have some bad moments, but yeah. I think of good Borderlands comedy as dark humor, at least in the early titles. I agree. Borderlands 1 and 2 had a lot of things going for it, but I feel like as they've gotten past Borderlands 1 and 2, and you got things like Borderlands, the pre-sequel or whatever the fuck it was called, and then you have Borderlands 3 and even like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And if we can also grab Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the D&D bunkers and badasses from Borderlands 2, they've slowly started to drift farther away from Borderlands 1 and 2 and what made me enjoy those games. Of that, I still felt like the world was serious, and it was serious about itself, and the characters were serious about what was happening, while having this level of injected insanity in it, of like, whether it's because of, you know, chemicals that certain characters were involved in, or because certain people had lost their minds in one way or another. And so there was this level of unpredictability that existed within Borderlands 1 and 2 that they've started to drift very, very far away from. I also appreciate seeing people with disability in games, especially key players. I agree, Athena, I do, but it also makes me nervous. Not because of there being a character with a disability, but because of the company that is handling it. Because Gearbox Software, as a company and as a video game developer, does not have a very good track record. And so it's nice to see Fran as a character, but I do worry that she will be handled poorly. She's definitely a very strong character. She definitely is ready to handle things her own way and not be put down by the sake of her disability. But I can see them using her disability inappropriately and in a very uncomfortable way. So you can see that, like, there's not a whole lot of control that you have over the characters. It's moment to moment. It's definitely a newer version of a Western visual novel where it's choose your own adventure style. Psychos are crazy in a certain way. I just feel like this is very pandering with how Gearbox handles social things. And I think that's what it is that Gearbox so often has pushed towards trying to, I don't know, build individual jokes that they think are funny, rather than build a cohesive environment that has both a level of seriousness, but the brevity of comedy inside it as well. So this is going to be, however, we saw a short snippet of them fighting with these, like, figures. Yeah. Quick time events, small moments, individual decisions, and I don't necessarily even believe that this game will be bad, but I do worry that it's not going to be what a lot of people want. I don't know if it'll live up to people's expectations that are coming from Tales from the Borderlands, and I don't know if it'll meet a lot of the boxes that Borderlands fans want, and I don't know if it's just going to land very well as a product. So anyway, as you can tell, I'm very tentative about it. I probably won't touch it, but I am curious to see where it ends up with on a public level, just because of all of the circumstances that we've already talked about. Gearbox is in a very interesting position right now. They did have a very large success with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, but historically, at least, well, not historically, not eternally, but over the last handful of years, they've had many problems and many controversies. So just don't try to blatantly acknowledge things like, by the way, this character belongs to this demographic. See, we're inclusive. Yeah, and that's a problem. That's when you're pushing into tokenism. So that's new Tales from the Borderlands. I'd love to hear from you. If you're a fan of the Telltale Games catalog, whether it's from the Walking Dead series or Wolf Among Us or even Tales from the Borderlands. How are you feeling about new Tales from the Borderlands being led by a developer sticker of Gearbox Software? And where do you sit on Gearbox as a company, and where is this game landing for you specifically? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. Speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can watch together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.